Okay, here we're going to look at Williams' first serve, and we'll see that it's a little bit less extreme example of the same
But
flaws
it doesn't
in
matter. I'm not gonna pay.
motion which are plaguing Ding here. Okay, so let's slow it down, and what we're going to see, okay, we're going to start by observing Williams' starting position, and we're going to notice that his front foot is really pointing pretty far forward towards the front of the court. If we compare with Roger Federer and his starting position, it's still pointing to the front, but it's significantly less open than William. And as we see him move into his actual motion, we see that the toes point almost directly parallel. This enables him to get a good hip and shoulder turn away from the ball, and therefore a better rotation through the ball. So the first thing that I want William to do is to perhaps narrow his stance just a little bit and to get that foot much closer to parallel to the baseline, the front foot and the back foot pointing even towards the back fence a little bit. The second thing that we're going to see him do as he tosses the ball is he's going to bring that front foot forward to near the point of a foot fault. He foot faults at some moments, if not all the time. Now, why is he doing that? Because William, like Michael, clearly has been told to toss the ball in front of him, but he's also used to hitting it at a point where it is directly over his head. Now, if we look back at Federer, what we're going to see is that, notice that the contact is clearly made up here, that in a pro serve, the contact is made in front, right? Either directly in line with the sort of plane of the front body, or even a little bit farther out in that direction. That's why people tell you to toss the ball out in front. But what some of us tend to do is, instead of we toss it out in front, we obey that instruction, but then to recreate the old contact point that we're used to, we bring that front foot forward and we look to make contact directly over our heads instead of out and in line more with the front plane of the body. And then we see that the landing is close to being on balance, but the upper body is really kind of bending forward, and that's a little bit less than graceful. If we look at Federer and the correct landing position, we see that he is pretty well up and down. His back foot is kicking out, and he is well balanced on his left foot, and then able to take a step further into the court in the direction that he wants to. So the cure, or what I'm going to prescribe to William, is the same as what I prescribed to Michael. That is, I want him to start with his foot positioned at a near parallel angle to the baseline and a racket on his back foot, so that he is forced to hit the ball without moving the feet. We want to take the legs out of it and hit the ball without moving the feet. The second thing that we want to do, well, here's what that looks like from standing up without the racket, but notice again the back foot doesn't come up. He is rotating his front foot out a little bit, so you want to avoid that foot fault. But otherwise, what this is going to do is it's going to force you, if you're still tossing the ball in front, which you ought to be, to adjust to that new contact point without stepping forward. And finally, we want to practice that landing motion that we saw Roger Federer make. So here is an example, and to practice bringing the jump in and still looking to make contact in front of the body. So we want to establish the new point of contact and then put the legs back into it and try and make contact with the torso much more up and down. So that's what I think William needs to work on in his serve, and we'll do some of that and then go from there.